Hey guys, how's it going? Hope you guys are doing well as always, and I'm back with another video, and this time it's gonna be a deck guide video for Attic Buster Reverse. So, Attic Buster Reverse is one of the newest support for Nova Grappler in set 12. Of course, there's also Attic Buster Extreme, but in my opinion, I don't think Attic Buster Extreme is good enough for you to make a pure Extreme deck, but mixing both Reverse and Extreme might not be a bad idea, even though most of the time you'll be winning with Attic Buster Reverse. Also, for some reason, I don't see much people playing Attic Buster Reverse in rank or even in tournament, but I really do think it's a fantastic deck just because you can finish off your opponent from 3 to 6, and that's a big deal because we are in the breakride plus limit break era, and because of that, your opponent can't even use any of their limit break skill. So the only way for me to prove it is to make a deck guide video and show it to you guys. So before we take a look at some gameplay, first, let's take a look at the deck list. Okay, so here's the list. As you can see, the starter we are going to be running is the Grade 3 Searcher. So I think the Grade 3 Searcher is a really important starter to run just because if you're playing any Attic Buster deck in general, you want your first Vanguard Grade 3 ride to be your break ride. So because of that, a Grade 3 Searcher is a safer option because you might miss your break ride. Or even if you have your break ride, you can search for your Attic Buster Reverse which you want to ride over your break ride. But for a situation where you actually do miss your break ride, it's gonna be tough to win from 3 to 6, I'm just gonna say it first. But of course you can still win because you got cards like Poplio where when you attack hit, you can send a rearguard, so potentially you can push for 4 attacks in a turn. But before we take a deeper look into the deck list, first let's take a look at your main card which is gonna be Attic Buster Reverse. So Attic Buster Reverse skill is Limit Break 4, once per turn, Counter Blast 2, you lock one of your rearguard and discard 2 Beast Deity cards from your hand, and it gains the following ability, which is after this unit attack, you can stand and draw 2 cards. So this combo is kind of similar to your Attic Blau deck, but in my opinion this is better just because it is a 13k base, and of course you don't really lose out in any value because you discard 2 cards and you draw 2, so there's no loss, there's no gain. And beside the Limit Break skill, it have another skill which is every time you check a Grade 3 and above Beast Deity card, it gains 5000 power. So all of my Grade 3 are Beast Deity. So potentially every time you check a trigger, it's actually going to count as 2 triggers just because you can give 5000 power to a rearguard and it gains 5000 power itself as well, which I think is amazing. Because of this effect, you can break through of your opponent defensive trigger easier, since if you want to close 3 to 6 damage, there will be times where he get a defensive trigger and become 26k Vanguard, so this skill will come in really handy. And of course the last skill is the Cross Ride, which is the 13k base if you got your Attic Buster in the soul. Okay, so next is the Break Ride. I'm pretty sure most of you guys are familiar with this card, which is once you break ride over this unit, it gains 10,000 power and your Vanguard gain the following ability is every time when you attack your opponent, you can stun your front row. Also, we run 4 Yamatamo Drake, which is every time it stun, it gains 4000 power, which is good because if you stun it twice, it's going to be 18k, so that's really amazing. And I just play a one-off Attic Buster Extreme because this can be your backup win condition if you run out of your Counter Blast. Because, for example, if you go for the Q, right, you Counter Blast 2, and you use a lot of Counter Blast for your Poplio, and you use the Counter Blast for your starter, and you don't have 2 more Counter Blast to use your reverse skill, and that is where you actually ride your Attic Buster Extreme, since the skill doesn't require any Counter Blast, which is Limit Break 4. When this unit dry check a Grade 2 and below Beast Deity, you can stand 1 rearguard. But if you don't stand any rearguard, you can choose 1 unit to gain 5000 power instead. Yeah, like I say, most of the time you're not going to be running this card, so it's just there because, it is a Beast Deity and it's a 11k, so it's just nice to have him in case you need it. Next, for your Grade 2, we run 4 Poplio, which I just mentioned just now, which is when this unit attack hit the Vanguard, you can stand 1 of your Beast Deity rearguard. We also run 4 Chocolate Tackle, 1 10k Vanilla. You can play whatever you want, it's just a one-off, but I do recommend playing Beast Deity because you do not want to play too many non-Beast Deity cards since you need to discard 2 Beast Deity for your Attic Buster Reverse skill. Next, we run 4 Golden Angler, which is the same with Yamatamo Drake. When it stands, gain 4000 power and it can stack. Next, for your Grade 1, which is a little bit special, as you can see, pretty normal 4 PG, and we actually play 4 of the drop draw. When this unit attack hit or boost hit, you can drop draw if your Vanguard is Beast Deity. So drop draw is really important because this deck is a piece reliant deck. You have to draw into your pieces to actually have a higher chance of closing up the game from 3 to 6. And that's also why we run 9 draw for heal. And we run 1 on play Soul Blast to draw a card. And we run 2 of this amazing card, which is Rocket Hammer Man. So this is a really good card because I've been breaking my mind thinking how can I close up the game from 3 to 6 more efficiently, and I think this is one of the key cards. So the skill is you can rest this unit and choose one of your other unit and it get plus 2000 power. So you might be thinking 2000 power is not much, but that is where you are wrong. So the 2000 power come in really handy with Yamatamo Drake, because if you give it an extra 2k, when it's stand, it's going to be 16k. So for example, when you go for your breakride, 2 of your rear guards attack your opponent rear guards and your Vanguard swing, so he go to 4 damage and he's going to be at 16k. And this unit stand, that means you can push for extra damage, which I think is huge. And another good pairing is if you have this with Yamatamo Drake and a 7k or a 6k booster, is going to become a 26k column when it stands twice, which can hit through your opponent's defensive trigger if he does check one. And also we have 2 other unique cards, which is Clay Soldier. So Clay Soldier is really good as well, because when this unit boost hit, it can stand. But you can play Tough Boy if you like, because my original list that I won, the Vanguard 0 Championship, on day 1, I make it to top 16. I got 5th place overall, is with Tough Boy. Because I feel like Tough Boy is good because like I say, right, Tough Boy with Yamatamo Drake is going to make a perfect 26k column if you stand twice. But with this, if you have your Rocket Hammer Man, it's kind of the same, but it's better. So if you don't want to rely on pieces so much, I would recommend playing Tough Boy instead of him, because if you play him, you will need him plus Rocket Hammer Man to make your ideal combo. Because let's say you have a column of Yamatamo Drake and your Clay Soldier and your Rocket Hammer Man. So your Rocket Hammer Man is gonna give 2000 power to your Yamatamo Drake, and you're gonna stand and your Yamatamo Drake is gonna be 16k. And if your opponent check a defensive trigger, it's gonna become a 21k. So this plus your 16k is gonna make a 22k, and you can boost and hit him and bring him to 5, and you can stand this booster and you have a fresh new column. So this is the idea for this card. But like I said, Tough Boy is a good option as well. You guys can mess around with this build, but I do highly recommend sticking with this build. The only card if you want to mess around is either play 2 Clay Soldier or 2 Tough Boys. So how you want to win with this deck is pretty simple. Like I say, 3 to 6. So your Vanguard is going to be your Attic Buster, and you're going to breakride your Attic Buster reverse over it. And your 2 front row column, you want your Yamatamo Drake or Golden Angler. Ideally, you want 1 of each, but 2 Yamatamo Drake is good as well if you are going for the kill and you are like, I have to kill him this turn, otherwise I'm dead. So 2 Yamatamo Drake is a good option. And always put your Rocket Hammerman behind your Vanguard. So try to keep your Vanguard column empty. Don't put your starter behind your Vanguard unless you don't have a choice, because this card always must be behind your Vanguard. Because after you use the skill, it's in rest. So when it's in rest, you can't do anything else besides lock it. So like I mentioned, right, 2 of your front row, 2 Yamatamo Drake or Golden Angler is fine as well. And then you want booster as well. So one other column is going to have 1 Clay Soldier, and the other column can have, you know, any other booster. Your 7k booster, your starter as a booster, even the 5k booster is not that bad. So that is kind of your ideal board. And then you just attack your Vanguard, stand again, and then attack his Vanguard and stand, and hopefully try to finish off the game there. So it's kind of hard to explain with words, and it's easier to understand the combo by watching the gameplay. So I guess that's enough explanation. So same as always, I do have a total of 3 games to show you guys. I have a game where I fight against Aqua Force, a game against Link Joker, and a game against Shadow Paladin. All are great decks right now, so you guys can see how this deck match up against those. And of course, I do have the timestamp in the description box down below, so you guys can choose which one to watch. But I do highly recommend watching all 3, just because all 3 are different decks and are all different scenarios, so you guys hopefully can learn what to do when you came across those decks. Okay, so now let's take a look at some gameplay. Okay, so as you can see, the first game is going to be against Revengers, which is the strongest deck in the meta in my opinion right now. So here, a pretty solid hand. I actually will full keep this hand, no joke, because the only thing you're missing is your Grade 1 pieces and your Attic Buster Reverse, which you can search with your starter ability. And we are going second. Doesn't really matter if you go first or second, but I do prefer going first, because if I go first I can break right earlier, but going second means you have more extra cards, so it's not too bad. Because I'm gonna be honest here, if this deck don't check your draw trigger in the early stages or your mid stages, it's just gonna die out, because this deck really rely on pieces like I say, and also rely on your hand size, because you need to commit 5 cards into your board, and of course you need to have 2 Beast Daddy in your hand to use the reverse skill. So it really rely on draw trigger, that's why you run 9 draw trigger. So here, I did decide to write my 7k because I can drop draw. So I'm not gonna drop draw as you can see, because my hand are all good cards. There's nothing bad for me to drop draw. So most of the time, against deck that can't retire your rearguard, you want to drop draw an extra copy of your Rocket Hammerman and your Clay Soldier, or even Tough Boy if you're running it. So this game, I'm pretty sure I'm running Tough Boy. I have a few games with Tough Boy and some games with Clay Soldier. And if you notice, I actually put my starter not behind my Vanguard because, like I say, you always want to keep your Vanguard empty unless you don't have a choice. So here, I can do a few options, but no, nothing too fancy here. I'm pretty sure I'm just gonna ride my Golden Angler, yep. Because I can keep my Pop Leo and try to push 2 damage next turn. So when you're playing this deck, you do not want to overcommit because you want to save cards in your hand so that you can go for an all-in Q when he's at 3. Because you do want to push him from 3 to 6. That is the ideal. Oh, that is kind of the game plan of this deck. So here he ride Raging Form, so that's kind of good because he don't have his breakride. So that's why I always recommend playing Creeping Dark Gold, which, you know, most people don't, which I kind of understand because, you know, Cloudus is a good starter as well. So here, kind of interesting that he just called Doreen down for no reason. And I guess we are going to 3 unless we check a heal trigger. Okay, a draw. That's fine, that's fine. You know, it's good that your opponent check their trigger in the early stages so that when you're going for the kill, they don't hopefully check any damage trigger. Okay, no trigger for us, that's kind of sad. We are hoping for at least 1 draw in our damage check, but it's alright. So here we draw another Attic Buster, which we can hopefully drop draw if we can draw into our drop draw booster. And that is the alternate art version of it. It is one of the season rank reward. I can't really remember. Is it previous season or is it previous season? That's pretty much the season where I qualified for the Vanguard 0 Championship. So here I'm gonna put him to 3 and hopefully win the game next turn. It's gonna be tough winning the game without any booster, so I do recommend you guys not to call your Grade 1 in your front row because I feel like Grade 1 is super valuable in this deck. Since when you're going for the Q, you 100% need 2 booster at least because your back row, your Vanguard behind back row, right, don't have to be a booster since it is a Vanguard circle where you want to lock. So here he did decide to use the Raging Form skill to search another Raging Form, which is fine, I guess. I mean, there's no rush though. Okay, I guess a duck is coming, which I hope he burned my grade 2 because I want my 4k booster. You know, even though it's a 4k, I still want it because it is a booster, okay? A 4k booster is not that bad in this deck, especially if you got Golden Angler or Yamantamo Drake in front of it. Since if you stand twice, it's gonna make like a 22 or 23k column, which is good enough if your opponent don't check any defensive trigger. So here my opponent, I feel like he did a misplay, yup. Because if he attacked with his Vanguard first, he can actually heal, but now he can't, so that's a pretty huge misplay. So here draw trigger, and we did draw into our Tough Boy, which is huge! Because I got Yamantamo Drake in my hand, I can make a 26k column. So here I'm going for it, man, because I want to show you guys the power of closing the game from 3 to 6. So here, gonna ride Attic Buster reverse, and if you notice there's no animation just because my Kamui is not reversed, since I didn't really exchange my meta for it because I want to save for other characters in the future. So here, I'm gonna call my Tough Boy at the left column with my Yamantamo Drake, and I'm gonna call a Golden Angler. And I'm just gonna call my PG and lock it and just discard 2 of the non-PG card. Because like I say, this is my all-in turn. So this deck is really kind of like gambling. You either go for it or you just die. It's that simple. But most of the time, if you go for it and you have the perfect board, I would say 90% of the time you're gonna win unless they have all 4 PG in their hand, which is very unlikely. So here, attack with 2 rear guard first. Do remember, that's really important because when it stands, it gains power. So here, can we get any triggers? No trigger, that kind of sucks. So here, no trigger for him. That's good, that's really good. So here, normally you will attack without any boost and try to stand again, but here I feel like I should boost with my Golden Angler. Because if you don't get any trigger, and my Golden Angler stand, and I get a trigger, my Golden Angler can attack again. So here, that's the right play. I want that column to be 26, so I don't want it to boost, and here I boost, that's correct. Okay, no trigger, that's perfect! So if your opponent going to 3 to 5 and they have no trigger, that's really good. So here if I check a trigger, he will need 3 PG to survive. 3 PGs, man. 3 PG is not easy to come by. Okay, that's one, sure. Next, Golden Angler attack. Do you have another one? He have, okay. Do you have a third one, my friend? Do you have a third one? And he doesn't, and like I say, 3 PG is not always the case. And no heal trigger, yep, that is game. So a pretty quick game because this Zac can really win fairly fast if you are doing the combo right and you have the pieces you need. And so this is, I think, the only game with Tough Boy, so the other games is gonna be with Clay Soldier, but I don't remember pulling the Clay Soldier combo off that well because like I said, it's a piece reliant deck, so most of the time you are not gonna have your ideal pieces, but you have to work with what you have. And I guess this concludes game 1, so now let's take a look at game 2. Okay, so the second game is gonna be against Link Joker, which I think most people feel like it's a bad matchup, but believe me, it's not, just because if you are doing the 3 damage to 6 damage game plan, they are not gonna be able to lock if their right is Infinite Zero Dragon because that is their breakride. So here I did decide to full hit because it's a pretty solid hand. Again, I have my starter to search for my reverse, and hopefully our draw trigger can get our grade 1 pieces that we need, which is our Rocket Hammerman. And in my opinion, the Rocket Hammerman is the most important one. Clay Soldier is important, but it's not as important as Rocket Hammerman because the 2k is huge, trust me. You guys should try it out for yourself. So here he didn't play the Chain Ride starter, so he's playing probably a Nebula deck with Chain Ride grade 3 maybe, I have no clue. So here we did join our Clay Soldier, so I'm not gonna write that. And like I say, unless you have no choice, you're gonna put your starter not behind your Vanguard. So here I don't have a choice, so I have to put behind the Vanguard because, you know, I need to boost, otherwise I can't deal 1 damage. Unless I have my Rocket Hammerman and I'm just gonna call it down as a boost, even though it's still early on. And again, I didn't really drop draw. Yep, there's a lag there. Because again, there's nothing bad to drop, to be honest. So I'm gonna hold on to my cards for now. And here he write a 10k vanilla, which is alright, I guess. And here, if he call grade 2, we might be able to do a Pop Leo play. So it depends what he call. A grade 1 and anything else? I feel like he should call 1 more because otherwise the 17k column is kind of wasted. So here he did call another Vanguard, which is kind of fine. Because like I said, I want to check my draw trigger. It doesn't matter if I take early on damage as long as I don't push him to 4. No trigger, that kind of sucked to be honest. But it's all good, it's all good. We did draw into our drop draw, so it might come in handy. And actually the drop draw is huge because I can pair the drop draw with Golden Angler. You know what, I'm not going to do that because I want to attack without boost, so I have to call my Chuck Attacker down, yup. So here I'm thinking about the Golden Angler play, but I realized that I want to attack without boost and he's 10k, so I can't do that. So 12k attack Rearguard and Pop Leo attack the Vanguard, and hopefully he don't get a trigger so that we can stand and push him to 3 damage. Okay, more lag. More lag. My internet is trash. Okay, I do apologize for that. And we check heal, which is good. Because we can still use the Pop Leo skill, which is combo +1. And that's 1 PG down, that's good as well. So here, he's going to 3. And as much as I want to drop draw, again, there's nothing bad to discard. Okay, so looking pretty alright for now. But my hand size is really low. I really need my draw trigger, otherwise this is not going to work out well. And if you're playing against Link Joker, right, you need to see what their first grade 3 right is going to be. Because if it's going to be Nebula, Lord Dragon, you don't want to call grade 3 in your front row, otherwise they can just lock it with their grade 2 8k, which is on hit. If I have a lock card, he can lock one of my rear guard. So here he write Infantry, which is fine, he can lock my front row. I don't think that's a big deal just because I'm at 1 damage, you know. The game is still pretty early on, and since that is a grade 2 lock, it's fine as well because the moment it got unlocked, it is an intercept. So that's the 8k grade 2 I'm talking about. A lot of people have been running that, so try not call grade 3, and we get our Rocket Hammerman, which is good because we have to use our starter skill since we do need to find our reverse and the Rocket Hammerman will be placed behind our Vanguard. Ooh, that kinda sucks. I feel like that just steal the game because, you know, defensive trigger like this hurt the most. Like, I literally just shut down 2 of his attack, and here we top deck our reverse, which is amazing. But you know what, we can still use our starter skill to search for a Yamatamo Drake, which is a fantastic front row attacker when you are going for the kill. So here obviously you're gonna ride your Attic Buster, and I feel like I should use my starter skill, or should I hold on to it? Okay, I did decide to hold on to it, which I think is a bad play, because he can lock my starter if he want to, if he have Nebula lock or he have another infantry. So I feel like it's a misplay, but let's see whether we get punished or not. Ooh, a heal, that's fine, honestly, that's fine. Because, you know, his hand size is only 3 when it's his turn, and our game plan is 3 to 6, so it doesn't matter if he's staying at 3. As long as he's not at 2, we are good to go. So here, he did decide to ride the Nebula lot, which I predicted and guessed it, just because, you know, if he's an experienced Link Trigger player, he'll probably lock 7k, to be honest, unless he know my deck. Because if he know my game plan, which is to call the Rocket Hammerman behind my Vanguard, he would have locked my starter, you know, he would have locked that side. And here he, wait, what? Why did he lock a column? I feel like he should lock my Golden Angler, because this way he give me a full column. That's interesting. I don't think it matters that much though. And here he give the power to the Vanguard. What? What are you doing? I guess it doesn't matter since he know he's not gonna check double trigger, so I guess it's fine, And we check another draw, that's amazing. So here, you know what, I can't break right, but he have used up 3 of his counter blast, so do I really need to push him from 3 to 6? Not really, because he don't have his break right. He's a Nebula Lord Dragon, and he can't use his Chain Right Persona Blast skill anymore, so I feel like I should just push for more damage. I feel like I should use my starter skill, yep, and try to search a Yamatamo Drake. I think I'll get the extreme because I really have a reverse in my hand, so having more option is just better. And I feel like I will call my Soul Blast to draw a card behind my Vanguard, I think. Even though I do say try to keep it empty, but it's gonna be tough. Okay, I'm not gonna call it now because it's not necessary since I can still push the damage, and I'm not looking for any card since... Wait. Yeah, I'm not looking for any card besides PG, but we are only at 3 damage, so we are not gonna die regardless, so it's fine. Unless he play Critical Trigger, which I don't think he does, I have no clue. So here, he only have 1 Counter Blast left, so he can only lock 1 my back row at most, and that's not gonna bring him the victory, to be honest, because, you know, he's at 4 damage, so if this deck do decide to go for the 4 to 6 damage play, you're gonna have a higher odds of closing the game, obviously. And I'm not gonna lie, most of the time if you're going for the 4 to 6 damage play, you should win the game. Okay, here, look like our grade 2 play are paying off, because if we call grade 3 there, his grade 2 can lock another front row. That's why I feel like it's super important to call grade 2s and not grade 3 or any grade 1 in your front row. Otherwise you will get punished by that grade 2 card. And here, I also do notice that he override a Nebula Lord, which I don't think there's a point because I have 2 intercept anyway, and here he heal. That's fine, that's fine. Like I say again, our game plan is 3 to 6, so going back to 3 is totally fine with me. And here it's time to go for the kill, but one of our column back row is locked, so it's not going to be as effective as it normally would be, and I don't think the Rocket Hammerman is going to do that much, so I might call my Soul Blast to draw 1 card behind my Vanguard because that's the column I want to lock. And because I have my Clay Soldier, I don't even need to attack without boost, I can attack with boost, doesn't really matter. And here I'm doing the calculation, does the 2000 power matters? Because if it doesn't matter, then I'll just not call it, because why would you call it? There's a better card to call, which is your on play Soul Blast to draw a card. So here I'm doing the calculation in my head. So what did I decide to do? So yep, did decide to go for the Soul Blast to draw a card and hopefully draw into maybe something good. I don't even know what I want, to be honest, because I guess I'm looking for a Yamatamo Drake or Golden Angler, because if I don't get those, my right column is kind of dead. But at the same time, he don't have any PG in his hand since he have nothing in his hand. So I don't think it matters unless he draw trigger into a PG. So we should hopefully win if all things went well. And here, if you do the calculation right, your golden angler stand twice 17 plus your 6k is gonna be 22 or 23, and then plus the 2k. It doesn't really matter. That's why I don't call my Rocket Hammerman there. Oh wait, he played crits. Okay, that's interesting, which I totally disagree. Why do you play crits? And that trigger might be huge, because if we don't get any trigger, we might not be able to close the game out. Oh my god, no trigger! Come on, no trigger here, please. Okay, good. So it's gonna be at 26k, which is gonna happen most of the time. I'll say 50% of the time it will happen, 50-50. And here we didn't draw any trigger, which is a good sign, because we just need one trigger to win the game. So even if the crit is a draw, right, and if you get a draw into a PG, he will still die because of my Attic Buster skill, which is if I check a Great 3 PCAD, it's gonna give 5000 power, and I can give enough 5000 power to my Golden Anglet column, which can break through a 26k column. And we did get a trigger, luckily. And that is game, hopefully, if you don't check a huge trigger. Yep, and that is game, and this concludes game 2. So, I guess it's not that close of a game, to be honest, because he don't really have his breakride or anything like that, but still, Nebula Lord is still a really good card, in my opinion. And I guess we should take a look at game 3. So, okay, so this is gonna be the final game against Aqua Force, which is a Maelstrom deck. So Maelstrom deck can be scary if they run Transcore, which is their breakride with Gory Maelstrom. So again, same idea, 3 to 6, they can't use any of their breakride and limit break skill, which is, I think, is amazing at this meta. So here I did decide to keep my Soul Blast 2 draw card, because I know I'm going to use my starter on turn 2. And he can't burn my starter unless he have limit break, or unless he play Valerie, which most people don't. So here I think I'm going to put my starter behind my Vanguard. Okay, that's interesting. I mean, if I'm going to use it anyway, I guess it doesn't really matter. Okay, so he write a 6k, okay. I mean, if you write a 7k, it doesn't really matter as well, because we can make a perfect 7k column if we want to. And that's one Gory Maelstrom down. And you know, when you're playing this game, right, if you're riding your grade 2 tanky vanilla, and if you're going first, most of the time you want to ride and then attack and stop there, because a 10k is hard to deal with if they don't have any booster. But since he have a booster, I'm pretty sure I might go for the 17k column and put him to 2 damage. And here, sadly, we did not get our reverse. But hey, we still got one more card to draw. Can we get it? We did not. But that's fine. That's a 15k column. Not 15k column. What am I talking about? That is a drop draw, which is good. Which is good. Should I go for the drop draw? I think I should try to filter some cards. And I don't need 2 Yamatamo Drake, so I'm pretty sure I'm going to discard 1. That's our reverse, but hey, it's not too bad. Getting a draw trigger into a grade 2. And that's a good grade 2 as well, because I go first. I can pair it with my Golden Angler and make a 20k column. And because I go first, he's going to be a grade 2 when I go to grade 3. I'm pretty confident I'm going to use the drop draw, and I'm going to drop the Yamatamo Drake, I think. Yep. Into Rocket Hammerman, that's amazing. But you know what? If you don't have your reverse, your Rocket Hammerman is going to be useless. Okay, so he writes 10k vanilla as well. Bust you, okay. So it's okay, look like he's going for aggressive approach. Okay, using his starter skill. What's he gonna get? He got a Maelstrom, which is fine, it's not Transcore, so nothing too scary there. Although Maelstrom burned a card, so do call your card wisely here. And he called self damage. Wait, what? Why would you do that? Hello, why would you do that? That's weird. Why would we call that down? Huh? He called another one? Dude, my friend, you are not a Maelstrom. I feel like he thinks he's at a Maelstrom right now, but he's not. And that's 2 wasted self-damage. Down the drain. What is this guy doing? Okay, no trigger there. Can we get a draw? We did into another Yamatamo Drake. That's our 3rd heal. So we have 1 more heal in our deck. So that kind of sucked. And we kind of want to find PG as well, because otherwise we might just lose. before we even find our reverse. Oh my god, that's our 4th Yamatamo Drake. Hello? Hello? What's going on here? I mean, Yamatamo Drake is good, but you do not want more than 2 copies, to be honest. So here I want to push him to 4 because I want to be aggressive. So I'm going to call my Golden Angler and my Pop Leo. And I'm not going to call my Rocket Hammerman just because I say against that can retire rear guard, you want to call your rear guard down wisely, especially your booster. And here we draw into our reverse, which is amazing. And here, if you don't get heal on his 4th check, on his 2nd check, he's going to be at 4, which I think is fine. You know, giving him the limit break is not that big of a deal. He can burn my Great 1. It's fine. And also, if I put him to 3, he might have another self-danger, so. And then I'm going to discard my heal and hopefully join the Great 1, and we did. It's a PG, which is good. Because I'm pretty sure I can survive any attacks. Even a Gory Maelstrom. Because if we don't draw into our PG there, if we got Gory Maelstrom plus a self-damager, we might have just lost there. Okay. So here he only have 2 cards in his hand. So how many PG does he have? No clue, but he did check 1. So at most 1. I highly doubt he have 2, to be honest. So here we are going to 5, which is fine because I'm just hoping he don't check a heal trigger there, because if he don't check heal, we should be good, because if I attack he check a heal, we can't heal anymore since it's at 4 damage only. And I'm also hoping that he check draw trigger so that he won't damage check any trigger, hopefully. And that's 1. You can check more, I don't mind. Okay, just 1, that's fine I guess. Into a draw. Ooh, coming in clutch our draw trigger, and we draw a booster, so go ahead and burn my Great 1. I have more Great 1 in my hand. Go ahead. Okay, so here, it's time to go for the kill, guys. It's time to go for the kill. Breakride, Attic Buster reverse, and call 2 Yamatamo Drakes down. And what else should we call here? Let's see, do we have enough card though? Call 2 Yamatamo Drake. Yeah, we have just nice. Call 2 Yamatamo Drake, a Rock Hammerman, and a 7k booster. That is huge. That is huge. And we can discard 2 cards. You know what? Discard PG. You know what? That's not a big of a deal. Because we are gonna win on this turn. And here is where I showcase the power of the Rock Hammerman. Because of the extra 2000 power, I can put him to 5 damage right now. Otherwise, if I don't have the 2000 power, I will have attacked his rear guard, which might not be a bad play as well, but you know, 1 extra damage is always good. And of course, my left column is 27k, which can beat his huge trigger as well. That is why the 2000 power is so good. Trust me, play the Rocket Hammerman, guys. Play it. And here, I feel like I should attack with my 16k Yamatamo Drake first. Yeah, without boost, that's correct. And he have no more PG. Even though he have PG, he still can't survive because he will need like 4 PG? Is 4 even enough? I don't even know. I don't think 4 is enough, to be honest. And that is game. And this concludes the Nova Grappler Attic Buster Reverse deck guide video. So, same as always, do make sure to leave a comment down below letting me know your thoughts about this deck. Is it as good as I promote it to be? Or am I just lucky? And do try out the Rocket Hammerman, which I think is an amazing card. I can't say this enough. Rocket Hammerman is amazing. And yeah, I guess this should be it. Thank you for watching and stay tuned for next video. Goodbye.